I think why I'm here to talk about the role of civil society in tackling water issues. I think one of the fact is that I have done some education work in Hong Kong in relation to water for the past 2 years. And I also work in a lot of NGO situations. But I think that most of us here, except some government bureaus, I think, belong to the civil society group. And I hope that before we go out of this door, we have some recommendations for the government. So I don't have to give any conclusion in my presentation. I will go through how water issues being defined in civil society. Without that, you cannot say I give recommendation what measures is more effective. The second thing is looking at the roles of NGOs in public participation, advocacy, monitoring roles, and also look at a particular issue not directly related to water, but plastic water that Bradley mentioned, and look at the business responsibilities. Okay, I just go very quickly from here, but I will see that there is a trend that for more than 2 decades that internationally we talk about water crisis. And you can see that the trend from scarcity or misuse of water, then actually NGO people come in and say that there are a lot of issues in relation to equity issue relating to accessibility to clean water and anti-privatization of water. And then in the UN context, we look at the Millennium Goals. Then you have a more holistic objective set in relation to water and human development, water and economy, water and ecological aspects. So it's just a kind of like cross-cutting, very integrated objective set in the UN. And we should benchmark Hong Kong towards that too. Water issues defined across the border. Okay, I think Sue talked about it, and I think that Deborah will talk about it later on. But I want to highlight that pollution and contamination have been on the agenda time and time. And you can see that the media in Hong Kong repeatedly wanted to draw attention to water quality. But I think most of all here do not think that we have a problem in water quality, right? The other issue in relation to transparency in information and access, I want to also highlight here, while Sue talked about one water, two system, you can see that the information access in Hong Kong compared with China, Hong Kong is better. But I will say that Macau is better. I will tell you why later on. Okay, this is what the Water Supply Department said. This is how we think. This is what strategy we have. If you look at the graph here, sorry, I don't have that. No, that doesn't matter. If you look at the demand side, if you look at the flushing toilet water using seawater, the government has been trying a lot of efforts to increase from 80% to 85%. Okay, at least they have target, but they have no date when they will finish. And also on the supply side, there is a something in relation to desalination of water to generate more supply. And this, the government thinking once it is built, then in the next 10 years, 15 years, we will then have like 5 to 10% more water. So yeah, you add on to the current storage of reservoirs. I think maybe the best that we can say that we are going towards 40% of our kind of local generation of water. Maybe society is too optimistic too. Local water issues. One person from the water consultation group told me just there are only 2 things about Hong Kong water. One is politics, the other is management. And the management is really transporting water from China to Hong Kong. And the politics one is really, I will compare water to food security. The government in southern provinces, they will make sure that, for example, our vegetables and pork meat, all meaning really a majority of it contributed by the China side. And so as water too, this kind of like guarantee has some kind of a very noble, but on some hand I would say it is very mysterious in a way that we also look at how we can, in emergency situation, be able to source our own water. Locally, water issues defined by civil society, I want to highlight two points take for granted in resource scarce situation and dependency breeds public inertia. That these 2 points, their interaction, I would say deeply affect how educational efforts by NGOs. You will say that we want to target really how many percentage of students to get aware. I found these two kind of like attitude or atmosphere really defeat educational purposes. And in relation to the regional perspective, we say that it is lacking regional perspective. I think there are a lot of people looking at the purchase of water. Hong Kong public think that the cost is too high and the water is too poor, the quality is too poor. And there are other people, other NGO coming and say, we have to actually use negotiation to actually get some of the purchase of the money that we buy water to support some upstream conservation. Say, for example, the Heyuan area upstream and also the source in Dongjiang province. I also want to look at the point lacking transparency and access to information to water quality. I interviewed some key stakeholders before I come to this meeting, and they also look at how Hong Kong Water Supply Department, how it only publish annual report on the water quality. I won't say that I don't trust the government, and the government says that the water is good, but I would think that I want a better service. If you look at next door in Macau, they have daily report, and that daily report have a third-party verification of the quality. And if you see that, how Chinese people on the other side would like to actually say to the government, hey, look at Macau. I mean, how we can actually know that our water is safe? Copy Macau. I mean, that is something that a lot of activists in China try to look at how to increase the transparency of the Chinese government on water quality. Lacking information on water consumption pattern about the attitude of trade and services and industry sector. This is something I really found out from this research the last 2 weeks. If you look at the service trade, is 25% of the total water consumption in Hong Kong, and the industry is 70%. I mean, a total 32% is a big number. And how much education we heard in the public about CSR, the corporate social responsibility? Very, very little. I want to highlight another issue. Somebody say it is not related to issue. I argue, yes, it is. Why? Because government said that the water is good. But I think back to water tap is not the preferred option. A lot of people will say that the smell, the odor is bad because of the pipes is too old, the plumbing issue. So we can't be let back to tap. Low water fee also make trade sustainable, but not our environment. Is what I've already highlighted. Landfill dumping of plastic bottle. Do you know how many tons being dumped every day in the landfill or the plastic bottle? 1,700 tons. A data released by State Exchange too. Business responsibility. We have over 48 million tourists in Hong Kong, and for the little research paper that I could find on the web, it's actually very, very difficult to find anything related to water consumption of the business sector in Hong Kong. out of that, I found that the restaurants, in relation to dim sum restaurants, one university talked about the dish washing machine consume a lot of water, 48%, okay? And maybe we should look at the labeling efficiency should be tagged on it. On hotel, there is also a research outside Hong Kong, talk about each night the guests staying in a hotel spend more than 400 liters of water, and it's higher than Japan and higher than Australia. The tourist theme park is something that we actually would advocate to do more on innovative integrated water and wastewater management. This is done by Hong Kong UA research that if some theme parks, they look at how much water actually in rainy season, that how much potentially they could collect. Right now, all of this water will actually drain to the sea. I already talked a little bit about the different roles of civil society, and from here you can see that most of the media and NGO worked a lot on advocacy on policies and measures and monitoring water quality. Why monitoring water quality? I would think that because the water collected from China actually released very little information, particularly before the closed tube. I think most of us knows that we have a closed tube at Dongguan all the way up to the upper part in Dongguan to ensure that we have actually good water. But just 100 meters above it, I always heard from some experts from China saying that you can see that the water is not drinkable. It is third category water. Second category is drinkable. So there's a lot of debate about the water quality in Hong Kong though. Okay, participation. You can see that this is a very interesting document about back in 1859, how at that time the Hong Kong government said, hey, give us a plan, give us ideas. I would say that this is a very, very good attitude. On education and monitoring and advocacy, there are a lot of different things. I won't say that the NGO sector have a lot of coherence one with the other. Very few NGO, green NGO involved in really water quality. There are a lot more media report on the serious and toxic pollution in the Dongjiang River. I want to highlight particularly the last one, Water Resource Consultation Group. It is a group organized by the government, and many NGOs and many academics, they sit in it. And one particular case that I talked to a few of them, a few of the members, and they said that for many years, the members have been asking the department to review water tariff. And they say that only water tariff, hand in hand with education and awareness building program, then maybe you can succeed to drive down consumption rate. So what constrains civil society, government, and business dialogue on water? There is an uphill battle. It's a strict quote from a person saying, an uphill battle in convincing the society there is a global water crisis, and that Hong Kong is no exception. So it seems that nobody believes there's a crisis. And dependency, I said, breeds public inertia. And the second quote is actually from a media. They said that she said that Hong Kong government's publicity emphasizes water stability. We are water stable, I can guarantee. Means on the one hand it is very good, but on the other hand, I said that is also a problem. The concept of water conservation in promotional material is rather vague and uninteresting. I think that is something that I think both the government and the NGO should look at, how to actually have more interesting program. And I also look at what Sue said, that insufficient facts and data, and in particularly to measures, greywater recycling, desalination, very little actually explained to the public by the government, or debates about that, or discussion continual discussion that we mean, and also lacking targets. Okay, where we need target to measure at what time we can achieve what. It is a funny thing that I took a picture from the Water Education Center in Mongkok. And what is 94 liters is a flushing toilet amount every day per capita, right? I think what is interesting, I think what is innovative is not about this setup, but about a conversation between a center in charge and a group of students, primary students, went to visit the center. And the center in charge said, hey, how we can actually improve and reduce this amount of water. And then one of the students said, put a brick into the water tank. Using the science and physics, the knowledge of small children. Okay, so these are the also very interesting, innovative projects that from PolyU Sustainable Design course, how they look at the water bottle and water when they meet together, really create a problem. And also they want to push back to tap, but without really now somebody will look into the pipe and the plumbing system. It is very difficult to say back to tap. Thank you very much.